Coldrain is a post-hardcore metalcore 5-piece band from Japan formed in 2007. The Side Effects is the band's 6th studio album and is released on August 26, 2019. This album is rather experimental for the band, and it takes a huge influence from Linkin Park and features a nu metal element with elements of rapping and electronica often associated with the genre nu metal and the Linkin Park sound. Before I go into more of this album itself, as always with my reviews, even though I missed this on my last reviews, I talk about the album artwork. Now, the album for this album artwork, it's a trend I've seen a lot with quite a few metalcore bands, most notably Bring Me the Horizon, where it's a cover of the CD. In this case, in Coldrain's case, it is a white background with the CD in a smaller font on the cover, sort of like it's being displayed on a table sort of thing. And honestly, I'm not a huge fan of this cover. And yes, it is neat that the CD does kind of look a little demo-y, or like one of those greatest hits CDs from the early 2000s or the 90s, especially with the formatting on the disc. But it just feels a bit lazy in my opinion, like the cover was kind of an afterthought for this album. Which is a real shame, because with an album title like The Side Effects, you sort of expect a really crazy or creative album cover, but here we didn't get that, and for me the cover is a 3 out of 10. However, do not fret, as I said earlier, these ratings of the cover are just for fun and do not impact my overall enjoyment of the album. Now, onto the album itself. The album does open up with a really strong track, Mayday, which is also going to be the anime theme song for Fire Force. And I can tell you right now, it is a kick-ass anime opening, just from before you've even seen the visuals for it. Ryu from Crystal Lake has an awesome feature on it. There's an intro with the dispatch radio that really helps get your attention. There is a lot of energy in the second half of the verses, and it is a very strong opening track for this record. Coexist is the second song, and it has a good intro with the electronics, a strong chorus, and a very powerful vocal performance from Matsudo. There's great guitar fiddling in the bridge and neat ambient sampling. The song also does have a very powerful message about not putting people down for our differences, and the fact that as human beings we should learn to coexist and not be angry at other people for how different they are, but rather accept our differences and progress, and not just be looking for differences to hate people, but rather differences to love them. See You was the third song, and it has very hard sounding electronica in the background that kind of sounds like a large piece of plastic being waved up and down. There is a very catchy chorus on the song, though if I'm going to be completely honest, this is the weakest song on the album lyrically, though it is quite good. Speak is the fourth song, and it opens up with a compressed intro, though the intro I felt like would have been really sweet if they had added like a radio dial effect, sort of to help also more with the mood. There is a great job though when everything's no longer compressed. It is a fairly heavy song, and the chorus does have, I feel like would have been slightly better if there was a slight bit more of energy by like having the vocal bits a little more together slightly between the screaming and the singing, though it is a very strong chorus, and I do love the Matrix references in the lyrics. Then we have the title track, Side Effects. This song features an ambient intro, has very heavy Linkin Park influence in the first verse. There's a great build-up, and I can see the song being a massive hit in the West. There is a very strong chorus, and it's a very strong anthem, part of why I believe it's going to be a massive hit in the West. Especially with the message of the song about embracing your individuality, that you're not a part of the like main status quo, that you're your own individual, and that's okay if you don't belong to a group. That's okay. This also, I feel like, with some of the lyrics, it also applies to musical groups on how people want to put them in a label, and then when they don't quite fit into a label, people kind of disregard them and will slander them. So it's a very powerful song, and it's also one that I do think that isn't like totally like inaccessible for a casual listener. So I do think this is a song that I am optimistically and very much thinking is going to be a song that's just going to blow up. It's kind of a bold prediction, I know, but I'm calling it right now. January 1st is a song that follows right after, and it is a ballad. In fact, it's the only ballad on the album. As the song opens up with soft strumming with water dripping in the background, it is a tearjerker. It's the tearjerker of the album, and the meaning could be interpreted in one of two ways if you want to go there. One meaning's more simple. It's basically about a breakup. However, the other meaning, this is one that I've come to personally, just more looking more into the lyrics, and sort of breaking them down for myself. And that is, the song is about a person grieving over another person, maybe it's a loved one, friend, family member, whatever, who committed suicide, or it's about loss in general. And it is a song which sees Matsuro give a very soulful performance. The album this next song on the album, Insomnia, transitions very well from January 1st, as it starts out with a soft piano intro to keep the flow going, and then when the song itself starts out to the intro, it's very bass in the verses, with the bass being very rumbly. The pre-chorus reminds me a lot of the chorus to Somebody Someone by Korn. The chorus itself is too also very familiar. I was trying to figure out this whole time in the process of doing this review what this song reminded me of, but unfortunately I could not find the song I was thinking of. So I'm really hoping that someone knows the song I'm talking about. If not, that's okay, though I have a feeling that right after I post this review, I'm going to remember what song it is the day after, because, you know, that's how life is sometimes. After that, we have The Answer to Sickness. The intro feels on this song like was cut off. There is a nice breakdown the bridge, and the guitar work on the song is simply fantastic. Breathe is probably one of the weakest songs of the album, mainly due to the odd mixing of having the guitar in the back of the mix with the drums up front, though it is another strong anthem to just keep going and just like relax and everything will be alright. Stay the Storm. This is a song that I don't know why, but I do kind of have a YouTube vibe with this song, and it has a okay guitar solo during the song, though it does make it up for it with a great guitar solo on the outro. Revolution is the second to last song, and it was a song that really got me excited for this album and had me pay attention to the release of this CD. There is a heavy Linkin Park vibe on this song. It's the first single of the record, as I said, and this song just kicks ass. The first verse is very crunchy and very heavy and very strong, and this song also features a pretty damn catchy chorus too. The second verse starts out very Linkin Park-like with the sounds of electronics and rapping, and this is a song that I really did like before reviewing this CD. The album closes with the song Lie Life. Powerful lyrics about the problems in our social media culture. Strong guitar riffs, great outro with the guitar filling, and it is overall just a solid note to close the album on. As I listened to the side effects, I came to the conclusion of this album having two central themes that are explored constantly throughout the lyrics of this record. The theme of individuality, becoming your own person, and that it's okay to be different even if you're viewed as weird or an outlier or whatever. And then the theme of unity, which is kind of interesting considering how both unity and the idea of like how as we humans need to come together and like no longer discriminate against our differences or sort of just hate each other, and that we really need to come together to overcome things. I know I'm kind of being vague with that. But yeah, it's just like, and it would be better for all of us if we were all to sort of coexist. And I know that unity and individuality are both opposite sides of the spectrum, but this album does pull off handling both ideas in its concept very well. And it seems like it's actually so well that you could sort of make a case with certain tracks that they're sort of about which one the spectrum it falls under between the two ideas. As for my overall enjoyment of the album, despite a few areas like the lyrics of "See You" or a few tracks near the tail end of the album, from "The Answer to the Sickness" to "Stay the Storm," I do feel like the whole album is just really phenomenal. I'm not saying those three tracks are bad, and by the way, but those three tracks, just in comparison to the whole record, are sort of at a lesser quality, if that makes sense. I'm not calling them filler, but there is definitely a lot of stuff to really like from this release, and it is definitely one that I do see getting some recognition, if not for the title track. This is an album that I am very much glad to have listened to and have reviewed, as well as the album that definitely does have something to say and is very thought-provoking about our culture that we currently have. And for that reason, and for the just on-point musicianship throughout this record, other than the okay guitar solo and "Stay the Storm," the entire album just like it's pretty much just on point, and just the freaking amazing vocal performance from Matsudo, just with both his screaming and his cleans, just throughout this record. I just like there's not a weak moment of it. This is a very strong album, and it is one that I would want to recommend to you all. That's why I'm going to give The Side Effects by Coldrain an 8.5 out of 10. What was your thoughts on The Side Effects by Coldrain? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments down below. And also let me know what you want me to review, and I'll be sure to at least check it out. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.